Stop right there, don't skip this video, because what I'm about to show you might already be sitting in your pocket, your drawer, or even that old jar of coins you haven't touched in years. Most people ignore pennies. They think they are worthless, outdated, and not even worth bending down to pick up. But what if I told you that one simple Lincoln penny from 1978 could be worth for more than 1 cent? In fact, in rare cases, it could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, and the right one could change everything for you. Today, we're diving deep into the 1978 Lincoln penny. A coin that millions of people have seen, spent, and forgotten. But hidden among these ordinary coins are rare variations, minting errors, and high-grade examples that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. And the craziest part? Many of these coins are still out there in circulation. Let's start with the basics. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. By 1978, the coin had already become one of the most recognizable pieces of currency in the United States. It features Lincoln's portrait on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the back, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial design, which was used from 1959 all the way until 2008. Now here's something most people don't realize. Not all 1978 pennies are the same. These coins were minted in different locations, and each mint left its own small mark on the coin. You'll find 3 main types: the 1978 penny with no mint mark, which was produced in Philadelphia, the 1978 D penny from Denver, and the 1978 S penny from San Francisco. At first glance, they all look similar, but to collectors, these small differences can mean everything. In general, a normal 1978 penny in circulated condition is only worth a few cents. Maybe 2 cents, 5 cents if you're lucky. But that's where most people stop looking, and that's why they miss the real treasure. Because when you start looking at condition, things change fast. Coins are graded on a scale, and the highest quality coins are known as mint state, meaning they were never used in circulation and still have their original shine and detail. A 1978 penny in average condition might be worth almost nothing, but a 1978 penny graded MS65 or higher can easily sell for $10, $20, or more. But here's where it gets exciting. If you find a 1978 penny in near-perfect condition, something like MS67 or MS68, the value can jump into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In fact, some top-grade examples have sold for over $1,000 at auction. That's a massive jump from just 1 cent. Now imagine this. A coin you could find in your loose change, worth over $1,000, just because it was perfectly preserved. But we're not done yet. Because the real jackpot comes from mint errors. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. These mistakes are rare, unpredictable, and highly valuable to collectors. And yes, 1978 pennies have their fair share of these hidden gems. One of the most valuable types is the double die error. This happens when the design is accidentally stamped twice, slightly offset, creating a visible doubling effect on the letters or numbers. If you look closely at the date, 1978, or the word Liberty and notice doubling, you could be holding a very valuable coin. Another error to watch for is off-center strikes. These coins look misaligned, as if the design slipped off the edge during minting. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. Some of these can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on how rare and noticeable the mistake is. There are also clipped planchets, where part of the coin is literally missing due to a cutting error, and die cracks, which create unusual lines or raised marks across the surface. These might look like damage to an untrained eye, but to collectors, they can be extremely desirable. And then there's the 1978 S-proof penny. These coins were specially made for collectors and have a mirror-like finish. While most proof coins are common, a flawless deep cameo version in perfect condition can sell for $50, $100, or even more depending on the grade. So now you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a valuable 1978 penny? Here's what you need to do. First, check the mint mark under the date. Look for no mark, a D, or an S. Then, examine the condition. Is the coin shiny? Are the details sharp? Does it look almost brand new? If yes, you might have something valuable. Next, grab a magnifying glass and look closely for errors. Check the lettering, the numbers, and the edges. Look for doubling, unusual marks, or anything that looks different from a normal coin. And most importantly, don't clean your coin. This is a mistake many people make. Cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value dramatically. Collectors want coins in their original state, even if they look a little dirty. Now let's talk about the big dream. Could a 1978 penny be worth millions? In reality, most 1978 pennies won't reach that level. $1 million coins are extremely rare and usually tied to unique historical errors or one-of-a-kind discoveries. However, that doesn't mean your coin isn't valuable. Even finding a penny worth $100 or $1,000 is a huge win for something that costs just 1 cent. And here's the exciting part, new discoveries are still happening. Every year, collectors find coins they never expected to be valuable. Hidden in collections, tucked away in jars, or passed down through generations. So the next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Because that small copper coin could be more than just spare change. It could be a hidden piece of history. A collector's dream. Or even your lucky find that turns into real money. And who knows, maybe right now, somewhere in your home, there's a 1978 Lincoln penny just waiting to be discovered. Stop what you're doing right now, because the coin sitting quietly in your pocket, your drawer, or even that old jar in your kitchen could be worth for more than 1 cent. Most people don't even look twice at a penny, especially one from the 1990s. They assume it's just spare change with no real value. But what if I told you that a 1995 Lincoln penny could actually be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars depending on one small detail? This is not a joke, and it's not some rare museum piece that only collectors have access to. These coins were released into everyday circulation across the United States, meaning anyone could still find one today. Now let's talk about the star of this story, the 1995 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks completely normal. It features Abraham Lincoln on the front, just like millions of other pennies, with the classic, "In God We Trust" motto above his head and the year 1995 stamped clearly on the coin. On the back, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used for decades before being replaced in 2009. Nothing about it seems special, and that's exactly why so many valuable versions of this coin go unnoticed every single day. The history of the Lincoln penny itself goes all the way back to 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It became one of the most iconic coins in American history, and over the years, billions of these pennies were produced. By 1995, the U.S. Mint was producing massive quantities of coins in multiple locations, mainly Philadelphia and Denver. Most of these coins are only worth their face value, but hidden among them are rare errors and varieties that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. The most famous and valuable version of the 1995 Lincoln penny is the 1995 double die obverse. This is where things get really interesting. A double die error happens during the minting process when the coin's design is accidentally stamped more than once in slightly different positions. This creates a visible doubling effect, especially on the lettering. On the 1995 penny, this doubling is most noticeable in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you look closely and see that the letters appear thick, shadowed, or slightly duplicated, you might be holding something very valuable. Now here's where the money comes in. A regular 1995 penny is worth exactly 1 cent. But a 1995 double die penny in good condition can sell for $20, $50, or even hundreds of dollars. In mint or near perfect condition, some of these coins have sold for over $1,000. And in rare cases, when the coin is in exceptional condition with strong doubling, collectors have paid several $1,000s for a single penny. That's the kind of hidden treasure that could be sitting unnoticed in your change right now. But that's not the only way a 1995 penny can be valuable. Condition plays a huge role in coin value. Coins that have never been circulated, known as uncirculated or mint state coins, are worth much more than worn, scratched, or dirty ones. A shiny, clean 1995 penny with sharp details can attract collectors even without errors. And if that coin also has a rare feature, the value increases dramatically. There are also other types of errors to watch for, like off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned, or coins with unusual coloring caused by minting mistakes. Some pennies may even have die cracks or other imperfections that make them unique. These errors might look like damage to an untrained eye, but to a collector, they can mean big money. What makes the 1995 Lincoln penny so exciting is that it's still relatively modern. This isn't a coin from the 1800s locked away in a collection. It's a coin that people have used in everyday transactions, meaning there's still a real chance of finding one in circulation. People have discovered valuable coins in pocket change, coin rolls from banks, and even old piggy banks that haven't been opened in years. Imagine going through your spare change tonight and finding a penny that looks slightly different. You take a closer look, notice the doubled letters, and suddenly realize you might be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's the thrill of coin collecting, and it's why so many people are now paying attention to coins they used to ignore. If you want to check your own 1995 pennies, all you need is a simple magnifying glass or even your phone camera. Focus on the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Look for clear signs of doubling, not just wear or damage. If you think you've found something special, it might be worth getting the coin evaluated by a professional grading service. At the end of the day, the 1995 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something small and ordinary can turn into something incredibly valuable. It reminds us that hidden treasures don't always come in the form of gold bars or rare jewels. Sometimes, they are right there in our hands, disguised as everyday coins. So before you spend another penny without looking at it, take a moment to check. That simple habit could change everything. Because the next time you reach into your pocket, you might not just be holding spare change. You might be holding a small piece of history worth big money. Stop right there and don't scroll, because the coin sitting quietly in your pocket right now could be worth for more than you ever imagined. Most people see a penny as just 1 cent, something they drop, ignore, or toss into a jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that a modern Lincoln penny from 2022 could actually be worth big money, even thousands, and in rare cases, collectors are willing to pay life-changing amounts for the right one? Today we're diving deep into the 2022 Lincoln penny, a coin that millions of people use every day, yet very few understand its hidden value. This is not just another ordinary coin. It carries history, design changes, minting secrets, and most importantly, rare errors that can turn a single penny into a serious payday. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, honoring President Abraham Lincoln. Over the decades, the design has changed multiple times, from the famous wheat ears on the back to the Lincoln Memorial, and now the modern Union Shield design that we see on the 2022 penny. Now let's talk about the 2022 Lincoln penny specifically. At first glance, it looks like just another coin. On the front, you'll see Lincoln's profile, along with the words, "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the year 2022. On the back, you'll find the Union Shield, representing the strength and unity of the United States. Clean, simple, but don't let that fool you. Because hidden within some of these 2022 pennies are rare minting errors and unique variations that collectors are actively searching for right now. Here's where things get exciting. Some 2022 pennies have been discovered with striking errors. These include off-center strikes, double die errors, die cracks, and even coins with unusual surfaces or missing details. These mistakes happen during the minting process, and while they might seem like flaws, in the coin collecting world, they are treasures. For example, a 2022 penny with a strong double die error, where the lettering or design appears doubled, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how clear the error is. Collectors love these because they are rare and visually unique. Then there are off-center coins. Imagine a penny where the design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. If the date is still visible and the error is dramatic, these coins can bring in big money in auctions. Another valuable type is the die crack or cud error, where raised lines or blobs appear on the coin due to damage in the minting die. Some of these errors look like extra metal growing out of the coin, and believe it or not, collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. Now let's talk about mint marks, because this is very important. The 2022 Lincoln penny was produced in different U.S. mint locations, mainly Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Philadelphia usually have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a small D below the date. In some rare cases, certain mint batches produce more errors than others. That means a simple detail like a tiny letter can make a huge difference in value. Condition is another key factor. A shiny, uncirculated 2022 penny that looks almost brand new will always be worth more than one that's scratched, worn, or damaged. Coin collectors grade coins on a scale, and the higher the grade, the higher the value. Now here's the big question: can a 2022 Lincoln penny really be worth millions? Let's be realistic. Not every 2022 penny is going to make you a millionaire. Most are still worth just 1 cent. But, and this is a big but, rare era coins, especially those in perfect condition, can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, and as time passes, their value can increase significantly. History has shown that modern coins with rare errors can skyrocket in value over time. Coins that were once pocket change have later sold for unbelievable prices simply because collectors realized how rare they truly were. And that's exactly why you should start checking your coins today. Look closely at every 2022 penny you find. Examine the date, the mint mark, the lettering, and the design. Use a magnifying glass if you can. Search for anything unusual, doubling, missing details, strange shapes, or anything that just doesn't look right. Because that mistake could be your jackpot. Imagine finding a penny in your loose change, and later discovering it's worth $500, $1,000, or even more. That's the reality of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt hiding in plain sight. So before you spend another penny, take a second look. That small copper coin might not be as ordinary as it seems. And who knows, the next time you reach into your pocket, you might be holding a piece of hidden treasure.